A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John, chapter 20, verses 24 to 29. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. But Thomas, sometimes called the twins, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples told him, "We saw the Master." But he said, "Unless I see the nail holes in his hands, put my finger in the nail holes, and stick my hand in his side, I won't believe it." 8 days later, his disciples were again in the room. This time, Thomas was with them. Jesus came through the locked doors, stood among them, and said, "Peace to you." Then he focused his attention on Thomas. "Take your finger and examine my hands. Take your hand and stick it in my side. Don't be unbelieving, believe." Thomas said, "My Master, my God." Jesus said, "So, you believe because you have seen with your own eyes. Even better blessings are in store for those who believe without seeing." The Gospel of the Lord.
Good morning. Let's listen to a short reflection according to St. John chapter 20 verses 24 to 29, touching the body of the Lord. Many years ago, on the occasion of the feast of St. Thomas the Apostle, Pope Francis spoke about the significance of placing our hands in the wounds of Jesus. He mentioned that the disciples had different reactions when Jesus appeared after the resurrection. While some were joyful, others were hesitant. However, the Lord appeared to Thomas 8 days later as he insisted on seeing and touching the wounds on Jesus' body to believe in him. He was stubborn. But the Lord wanted such a stubborn man in order to explain something greater. Starting with his disbelief, the Lord led him to profess not only his belief in the resurrection but, above all, his belief in the divinity of the Lord. Pope Francis further explains that we cannot see the wounds of Jesus as Thomas saw them. However, we find them in doing works of mercy to the physical needs, to the flesh of our injured brethren, for they are hungry, thirsty, naked, humiliated, slaves, in prison and in hospital. These are the wounds of Jesus in our day. The Gospel recounts Jesus appearing to his disciples 8 days after the Easter. This is a reference to the disciples gathering on the Lord's Day for the breaking of the bread. Jesus greets them with "Peace be with you," which is also the word spoken by the priest at the start of the Eucharistic celebration on the Lord's Day. Despite the disciples' fears causing them to close the doors, Jesus is among them as they gather on the Lord's Day. On the Lord's Day, when we present ourselves with all our weaknesses, the Lord does not rebuke us. Instead, he greets us with peace. "I give you peace." His next words to Thomas are indeed an invitation to everyone gathered on the Lord's Day. He says, "Look at my wounds and touch my hands. Reach out and touch my side." As we go to the Mass, Jesus invites us to do the same. It is by recognizing the wounds and the sufferings and pains of people around us that we proclaim, "My Lord and my God."